A loser, all of us addicted to the numerous screens in our life, which could be inhibiting our relationships. The most smartphone-addicted country, Brazil. The average user spends 5 hours a day on his or her phone. China and the U.S. are close behind. 9 in 10 12 to 17-year-olds in the U.S. own a smartphone. Half of teens admit to being addicted to their devices. I sat down with my colleague, Associate Professor Adam Alter, who also has an appointment in the psychology department here at NYU, to discuss his new book, Irresistible. So let's start with the first thing. I'm a company, I'm developing some sort of tech product or media product. What are the 3 or 4 things that are going to make my consumers feel like they're putting their lips around a crack pipe when they use my product?
Yeah, I mean, there's basically a toolbox. There's a series of tools that you can draw from the box. The first thing is you want to make the rewards they get from your product intermittent and unpredictable. So we have this idea that all humans want is predictable rewards. Exactly. Basically, you want to ensure that they're getting small doses of rewards at unpredictable times in the way that a slot machine might reward you. Mm-hmm. The second thing is make things social where possible. Mm-hmm. So we have Instagram and Hipstamatic, 2 terrific companies. Hipstamatic precedes Instagram by a year, comes out in 2009, Instagram in 2010.
Never even heard of it.
You don't know what it is, but it essentially does everything that Instagram does. The only difference between the two is that Hipstamatic doesn't have a social network built into it. But Instagram, because it builds in a native social network, it means that you're constantly getting feedback on everything you do. So sometimes when you send out a tweet or an Instagram post or a snap on Snapchat, whatever you're sending out into the world, you have no idea how many people will engage, whether anyone will engage. Will this be the next viral thing that you do? Will it be something that no one pays attention to? And the gulf between those, between being ignored online and having something go viral, is massive. The difference in how we feel about that is so big that it ends up driving our behavior, and we keep seeking that out over time. So you need that question mark.
So, and I'm not proud of this, but as you're talking about it, I do a lot of videos and a lot on Twitter, and I check it probably 3 or 4 times, maybe 2 or 3 times a day, and I want to see how many views my videos get, how many retweets I mean, there's an addiction there.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. There's a study that's been done looking at the brains of teenagers when they look at their Instagram like counts going up. Each time they see a new like, there's a little burst of dopamine, and certain parts of the brain fire, which is indistinguishable from a young child eating ice cream or even a heroin addict injecting the drug. It's basically a drug. It's the digital drug of our age. Because each time you see the number rise, you get that fresh burst of that effectively that response. It's very exciting.
What's number 3?
Number 3, I would say, is build in cliffhangers. So you want a lot of question marks that aren't fully answered. If you look at what really engages people, it's not knowing the answer to anything. It's getting them part the way there, but not giving them the punchline. So it's something that frustrates people, and it's that frustration that we want to overcome. So, you know, these classic stories, even Netflix, for example, you've got these shows that are on, and there's a series of episodes, and the way they get you to sit there and watch for the next episode and the next one and the next one is that the last 5 minutes of every episode is a cliffhanger that's then resolved at the beginning of the next one. You basically want to build that in as much as possible to any experience that you put out into the world.
So almost like a little bit of scarcity value.
Yeah, it's basically an open loop. It's a loop that you refuse to close for a certain period of time. And the way humans are, we hate open loops. It drives us nuts. So if you can create one for people, they will keep ruminating over the idea. It's the reason why they still talk about the ending of The Sopranos, where no one knows if Tony Soprano lived or died.
God, that pissed me off.
Yeah, and it pisses you off, but you think about it in a way you wouldn't if you knew the answer.
Right.
And smart people who create products know that.
Open loop, I like that term. 4?
4 goals. You want to give people goals. Humans, as much as they hate an open loop, one of the open loops we hate is an unfulfilled goal. Yeah. And that happens for us.
How do you give them goals?
Loyalty programs, frequent flyers,
Delta,
everything like
platinum medallion or diamond medallion. Yeah. That was probably the worst day in 2016 when Delta downgraded me from diamond to platinum.
There you go. Yeah. So you came down a peg. We're very sensitive to that. There's a reason, not just logistics, that you stand in different lines when you're lining up at the boarding gate. It's because they want you to stand there and look at the other people in the other lines. And if you're in group 1, you never want to ever be in a different line after you've been in group 1. And if you're in the other lines, you're supposed to look at the people in the first line and feel that you esteem them in some way and their experience is better than yours. They want you to walk through the plane, through past first class, and wherever possible they'll try to engineer that, even though it might be logistically more difficult, because they want you to see what all the options are.
As you were doing your research, and this is a thoughtfully researched book, was there anything where you started changing your own behavior?
Well, the thing that got me to write the book was I started discovering that the tech titans who'd created a lot of these programs and devices were not letting their kids near them, which I thought was fascinating. So Steve Jobs talked about the iPad in glowing terms, and it's an amazing product for Apple, but he wouldn't let his kids use it, which I thought was fascinating. I always imagined that he would be the first evangelist to take it to his kids and say, this is what we're going to do with it, this is how we're going to use it. And he's not the only case. So I think you can take away a lot of different ideas from this, and he's not the only one. There are schools in Silicon Valley where 75% of the kids have parents who are in Silicon Valley, tech execs, and they send their kids to these schools that are tech-free, which is a fascinating idea. And to me it suggests that they either recognize the dangers of tech, or that they, flipping it over, they recognize the benefits of a sort of more rustic real-world existence, that if you are at a school that's in a forest somewhere and you interact with the real world, it's not just some woolly idea and woolly ideal that we can all just be, you know, back to nature. But I think it's this idea that you actually do learn better when you're younger, when you aren't on a screen. The other big concern for me with screens is they bring everything to you. They demand absolutely nothing of you. And I think as a kid, you will gravitate towards the easiest thing and expect that all the time. So if you make life incredibly easy for kids all the time, they're not going to want to do anything that requires any effort.
Wow. Associate Professor Adam Alter at NYU Stern School of Business with an appointment in the psychology department, the author of Drunk Tank Pink and most recently, Irresistible. Simply irresistible.